In this lecture, I will be explaining the concept of cyber laws in India. After discussing the cyber laws, I will discuss some case studies in the later lectures. First, I will start with the cyber laws in India. Basically, why uh, this particular course require knowing of the cyber law is nothing but as a penetration tester or an ethical hacker, whenever they are going for security testing, they need to do several testings, or they need to penetrate into several devices. It may be a mobile device, it may be a server, it may be a network, it may be a router, or it may be a IoT network, or it may be any cloud network, or maybe any other electronic components, or electronic commerce related devices, maybe data storages, maybe any other thing. So whenever this kind of things were happened, or whenever this penetration testing is happened, sometimes knowingly or unknowingly, the penetration tester may leak out some data, or may not close the opened ports, or may not close the entered path into the target system. Because of that, if any original hacker have identified these loopholes and might have hacked the system, then that particular the targeted person may also sue against the ethical hacker or penetration tester, that he has not done the security testing properly. Because of the poor security testing carried out by the penetration tester, my company or my system or my organization have really gone into the hacking stage. Thereby, the penetration tester will fall under the trouble. And one more thing is, before starting the penetration testing, the first of all, there should be a clear cut agreement should be taken, should be signed off by the penetration tester and the intended organization that is taking the services of the penetration tester. That particular agreement must possess what are the devices need to be checked, what are the softwares need to be checked, what are the protocols need to be checked, what are the applications need to be checked, what are the firewall rules that can be broken, or what are the tools that need to be used, or what are the ports that need to be opened. So this kind of clear cut list must be signed off by the penetration tester and the organization. For example, uh, for example, as learning the concepts of the penetration testing, if any mischievous person has done originally, or might have applied originally the concept that he have learned for malicious intent, then there may be a cause of a problem, or there may be a damage to the system. Either it may be via the data theft, or privacy theft, or identity theft. So this effect may be at the individual level. That means an individual's computer may be damaged, or may be corrupted, or may be hacked, or it may be at the organizational level. That means an organization server may be captured, or an organizational server may be down because the attacker may conduct an denial of service. So, like that, an organizational systems or organizational networks may be affected, and sometimes the hacker, at the larger extent, they may also go for damaging the reputation of a country. So, this is what we call the country level. So, the individual level, organizational level, and the country level. That means the way of affecting the victims may be at the individual level, or maybe an organizational level, sometimes maybe at the country level. So we can also broadly classify our the security laws that are designed in our India as the security laws for dealing with the individual damage, that is crime against the individual, or the crime against the property or an organization, or crime against the nation. So these are the three major categories that we can see in our cyber laws. At the same time, as a penetration tester, one must know the law of the land. So wherever you go, you must know the law of the land for conducting your duties. So since you are in India, you are supposed to follow the law of the land of the India. And if you might have gone to any other country for work, so you must follow the law of the land of that particular country. So it is very very essential. Otherwise, you will be in trouble, or you will be in great trouble, because in some countries, the for a particular malicious activity, or for a particular crime that you have made via this penetration testing or something, or by hacking. So sometimes there will be a serious punishment, maybe up to life imprisonment. So you must be very careful. You must go through the law of the land. Then only this particular penetration testing or this hacking kind of activity need to be agreed between yourself. If you are running a consultancy, or if you are running as a freelancer, if you are doing some activity, and the organization that is going to be tied up with you for the penetration testing activity. So to this end, we are going to see the popular Information Technology Act 2000, and also this Information Technology Act is not a standalone. However, to have punishments, it is also linked up with the Indian Penal Code (IPC) to handle the cyber crimes. And also, along with this IT Act 2000, we are also going to see the IT Amendment Act. That is, some amendments might have done to the original act that was came into force in year 2000, and some modifications, some amendments have been added to the original act. This is called Information Technology, that is IT Amendment Act, that was came in force in 2008. So we are going to see these two things along with the Indian Penal Code, and also to have punishments with these acts, and to have punishment with these acts, there exists some other supporting laws that are available in our India, which are called Indian Evidence Act, and the Bankers Book Evidence Act, and other related acts like Telegraph Act, or the Indian Penal Code. So these kind of things we are going to see, and we are not going to see complete things, only the things that are related to the cyber crimes, and what are the supporting acts in IPC, what are the supporting acts in Indian Evidence Act and Telegraph Act and Evidence Acts. So from that we are going to see the sections, and what are the different penalties, and what are the punishments that can be imposed to the culprits of this particular hacking activity. So that is by this you come to know that the before going for the security testing or penetration testing, one must know the cyber laws, that is the law of the land. By knowing that there should be a proper agreement between the penetration tester and the organization. First, this agreement must be thoroughly prepared. Once the sign off is done, then you are supposed to go according to that agreement that you have made. If you might have deviated from the agreement, because of that something was happened wrong with the organization, then you are going to be punished. That organization has a complete right to sue you against that damage, and can recover from you, or sometimes you may be fall in the fall you may go under the punishment. So now the objective of this particular chapter, or this particular lecture, is to study the relationship among the cyber crimes, cyber security, and cyber laws. And also we are going to see the Information Technology Act 2000, Information Technology Amendment Act 2008, the cyber laws for the cyber crimes against the individual, as I told just now, because the damage may be happened to the individual's resources or maybe property, that may be at the organizational level sometimes, and to the nation also. So the cyber laws for cyber security and other applicable laws, such as what are the different amendments might have done to the Indian Evidence Act 1872 and amendments to the Bankers Book Evidence Act 1891. Basically, the the domain that this particular cyber laws in India, this particular domain is associated with the cyber laws, are especially cyber laws are like cyber crimes and cyber security. The cyber security protects the individuals, organization, and the business, and to the nation, and also at the nation level against the cyber crimes. Okay, so now we'll see what are the different terminologies that are going to be witnessed or that are going to be known, that should be known before moving on to these cyber laws and the IT Act and IT Amendment Act. So these are some key terms that will be commonly used among the among this particular discussion. The first one is cyber defamation. This refers to the publishing offensive content against an individual with the intention to spoil the reputation and modesty of a woman using ECDs, means electronic commerce devices. It may be a computer, it may be a mobile, or it may be any other thing, and the internet. It is punishable under section 500 and 509 of the Indian Penal Code. It is just like publishing the abusive content about some person and defaming the person over the cyber channels like via internet or via the social media. So if it was booked under the if any person has booked under that particular thing, then it is said to be cyber defamation, in which it is punishable offence under the section 500 and 509 of the Indian Penal Code. Next is cyber stalking. Usually, the hackers, once the defamation, once the website or once the account has been hacked, then what they used to use, they used to publish the abusive content about some renowned people. So usually, because of that, even though it was done by the hacker, but the account holder will be held responsible for that that defamation messages. Next one is cyber stalking. This means repeatedly following a person, harassing over phone calls, and with written messages, and threatening either the individual or his family using the internet, email, or other electronic commerce devices. This is called cyber stalking. It is also punishable offense, and the sections were not given here. I will quote these sections afterwards. Next one is cyber terrorism. This refers to crime committed in cyberspace, mainly disruptive activities that target the social, religious, and political beliefs, thereby spoiling the peace and well-being of the society as a community or a nation. This is called cyber terrorism. Usually, this kind of activities will be carried out by the hackers who are sitting on the in the enemy countries. They used to post some information which will disturb the religious peace and political beliefs, and this is called cyber terrorism. This is the crime against nation. Next one is data diddling. It is attempts to made towards illegal and unauthorized alteration of data. So this is what is being called when the hacker identifies that there is a loophole in the website and we can access the database. If the database content was modified or changed, then that particular activity is said to be data diddling. And this is just like changing the prices of a product once you have access to the database. As we have seen in the SQL injection, we can inject SQL commands, thereby we can change the content in the tables. So if this kind of things were happened, then it is said to be data diddling. Next is email bombing, sending enormous emails enormous amount of email messages targeting a server with the intention to crash it. This is called email bombing. So within a fraction of a second, there may be a huge number of emails might be sent to the server or sent to the system. Thereby, because of the poor resources or maybe limited resources that are available at the receiving end, if it is going to be crashed, then this kind of attack is said to be email bombing, and for this also a kind of punishment and penalties were provided in the IT Act. Next is pornography, making use of electronic commerce devices to develop, publish, print, and distribute the absence content through the internet. So this is also a punishable act. Usually, whenever the website defamation has been done, usually the hackers used to place this pornographic content in that and make the website defamed. So this is also a very punishable offense. Offense. Next one is the sale of illegal articles or products on the internet. Sale of narcotic drugs which may pose a potential threat to the health and safety of people and patients, weapons, wildlife, and lottery, etc., through the internet. This is also a punishable offense because some of the drugs in some countries were banned. For example, I know a situation which has happened recently from Hyderabad. One person and his family members uh, wants to go to Dubai, and he got a job in Dubai, and after a long time he got a job, and he wants to go to Dubai, and he went to the Hyderabad airport. There, some long known person to him came to him and he said that, okay, can you give this particular medicines to my known people whenever you get down in the Dubai airport? So since he knows this, the person, and he has taken those medicines, whenever he get down there, in the general checking, he was caught that okay, these are not the medicines and these are the banned drugs in the Dubai. Actually, this is the allowed drug in India, as usually it will be given to the patients who has gone for the knee replacement. So this is a commonly used drug in India for the patients who to heal the knee replacement after knee replacement surgery. But that particular drug was banned in Dubai, and he was sentenced to 7 years jail there. So this is what the thing, the something which are not related to that, which are banned in that country. For that, you are supposed to know the what is the law of the land. A person in USA was was gone for the punishment of 7 years imprisonment whenever he purchased a weapon over the online the electronic commerce platform called Wish. So whenever he purchases that, whenever he received that, so he was arrested by the police. The reason is their online sale of weapons are banned. So this is what the thing that these kind of things, uh, and sometimes like powerful some wildlife, like some snakes, some variety of snakes will be there. Usually, these snakes will also be sold over the internet via electronic commerce. But those purchasing of such wildlife is banned in some countries and are punishable offense. So, and next is online lotteries like Rummy and all these kind of things, online gaming. So, this kind of online betting. So, these kind of things were also banned in the some countries. Next is webjacking. Perpetrators taking the control of a website forcefully by cracking the administrative privileges. This is called webjacking. Next is website defacement, replacement of home page with another page that is defamatory in nature. So we usually see this kind of website displacement. Once the attacker observed the first index page and captured it, he will replace that index page with his own content. Whenever the home page was opened, then it will play or it will show the national flag of that hacker's country or their symbols, etc. So this kind of things is said to be website defacement. So these are the terminologies that you must remember before moving on to the IT Act and IT Amendment Act. We move on to the cyber laws in India. Cyber laws provides legal protection to anyone using the internet for personal, business, or other activities. The Indian acts that and laws that addresses various cyber crimes are as follows. So whatever the cyber crime has happened, that investigation will go through or punishment will be imposed based upon the following acts: IT Act 2000, IT Amendment Act 2008, Indian Penal Code 1860, the Indian Evidence Act 1872, Indian Telegraph Act 1885, Bankers Book Evidence Act 1891. And there exist some rules and regulations covered under the cyber law, such as IT Certifying Authorities Rule 2000, IT Security Procedure Rule 2004, IT Certifying Authorities Regulations 2001. And along with this one, we have some more things that will be considered. Like beside this, we have special acts to deal with the cyber crimes, because these are not sufficient. Sometimes, like online sale of weapons, online sale of drugs, these kind of things. For that, some special acts are also there, which are called online sale of arms under the Arms Act 1959. Next one is another thing called online sale of drugs under the Narcotic Drug and Substances Act 1985. So you might have seen recently from past 6-7 months, not past 6-7 months, 4 to 5 months in media, this narcotic control department are very active and they are investigating. If this particular drug was sold or sale or purchase was happened via internet and was caught, then this particular Narcotic Drug Act 1985 will also come into the picture, and according to that one, the punishment will be given to the culprits. So the glimpse of IT Act, let we'll see now. This IT Act 2000 came into the force on 17th October 2000. IT Amendment Act was came into the force on 27th October 2009. Because actually, whenever the act has come, first a bill has to be introduced in the parliament, and then once the bill has been approved by the majority of the parliamentarians, then it will be passed to the lower house to the upper house. Once after that, then the act will be notified by the president of the India. So in this process, these are the dates in which the IT Act and IT Amendment Act was came into force, in which we have majorly the glimpse of, if you look at the glimpse of IT Act 2000, there exist sections like this. Section 43, penalty and compensation for damage to computer and computer system. It may be a physical damage or it may be a damage via hacking. Okay. Next one is under this damage, the damage may be due to the data, damage to the applications. So many variety of things will come, which are called subsections will be there. Next is section 66, computer related offenses. Section 66C, punishment for identity theft. Section 66D, punishment for cheating by impersonation by using computer resource. Section 66E, punishment for violation of privacy. Section 66F, cyber terrorism relevant cases. And section 67, punishment for publishing or transmitting obscene material in electronic form, especially pornography. Section 67B, punishment for publishing or transmitting of material depicting children in sexually exploited position, that is child pornography. So these are the main content, these are the glimpse of the IT Act 2000. We'll go in deep of this IT Act. So remember, these are the main sections under the IT Act, and which will cover the entire the hacking procedure and the malicious intention procedure, malicious intention activities carried out by the people. The scheme of IT Act is like this. This IT Act consisting of 13 chapters. And among these 13 chapters, remember that chapter 9, 11, 12, 11 to 12 alone are related to the cyber crimes and cyberspace. The remaining and all deals with the what are the duties of the organization, what are the duties of the individuals, what are the duties of the record keeping. So these kind of things were mentioned. So chapter 1 is related to the preliminary, the introduction to this particular act. Chapter 2 deals with the digital signature and electronic signatures. So how the digital signatures are valid, what type of digital signatures are valid, how the electronic signatures are valid, and for what are the measures you are supposed to take for recording these digital signatures and electronic signatures. Chapter 3 deals with the electronic governance. So what are the guidelines for maintaining the good governance over the electronic medium, like taking of the online applications, taking of the petitions, taking of the grievances. So maybe any other thing which is related to the government and the individual, or government and the organization. This will fall under the electronic governance. Here the sections are from the section 4 to 10A. This will fall under the electronic governance. Under chapter 4, attribution, acknowledgement and dispatch of electronic records. How electronic record to be dispatched. That means how the data to be collected and how the evidences to be collected, how evidence, what type of evidences in electronic form are acceptable, how to maintain those evidences for a long time. So these kind of thing was mentioned in the attribution, acknowledgement and dispatch of electronic records, which will fall in which the sections are 11 to 13 that will acknowledge, that will relate, that are related to this particular chapter. And chapter 5, secure electronic records and secure electronic signatures. So how, what are the security standards that are accepted for this electronic records, and what are the security standards that are required for maintaining these electronic signatures, that are described in the sections 14 to 16. Chapter 6, regulations of certifying authority. That means if a digital signature have been given to you, that means there is a certifying authority should be there who are going to issue the digital signatures. So what is the regulations of the certifying authority? That will be described under, that are described under section 17 to 34. So chapter 7, electronic signature certificates, which are described under section 35 to 39. Next, chapter 8, duties of subscribers. If you are a valid subscriber, what are your duties? For example, you might have taken a broadband connectivity for which the service provider has given an offer that if you might have taken the broadband connectivity, and you will be given a Wi-Fi router for free. Okay, you will be given a Wi-Fi router for free, and if you might have taken the subscription for 1 year or something, they might have given the option like that. But you might have taken a nominal price or nominal rate related broadband, and you have run up to some years. Then afterwards, you want to disconnect the subscription. Then whenever you have applied for the disconnection of the subscription, then there may be a terms and condition that the Wi-Fi router has to be returned back, and any other electronic equipment that was set up by the service provider must be returned back. These kind of conditions will be there. Whenever the disconnection was happened in a proper manner, there will be a clear form and clear checklist will be there. If that checklist, the checklist will be accepted by both the customer and the service provider, and you are supposed to remember that that checklist must be with you for at least 2 years. Okay, you take a copy of the checklist and maintain with you for at least 2 to 3 years. Otherwise, what will happen? Sometimes some service providers, what they used to do is they wantedly make you to trouble that this particular customer has not returned the Wi-Fi router, or has not returned the costly equipment that was set by the organization, like that they may sue you in the court of law under this particular section, that they have violated the duty of the subscriber, and they will asking for you for the penalties, compensation, and other punishments under the court of law. So that is the reason, as a subscriber, you must listen, or you must go through the subscriber's duties there, and you are supposed to follow that, because many of the customers of the Hathway broadband, I am quoting on quote unquote that Hathway broadband was suffered out of this, and some from some corners, from somewhere, they used to make a phone call and they used to say that you have not returned the Wi-Fi router, you have not returned this device and that device, we are going to sue you in the court of law, like that. Some used to get some phone calls like that, but I don't know whether really the Hathway people used to do like that, or anyone who have taken the data from them as a third party are doing that. Only God knows. But if this kind of thing is happening regularly, the company has to be very vigilant and has to take care of this kind of activity. Otherwise, the reputation of the organization will also go down. So, as a subscriber, you must know the duties of the subscriber, and you have to go accordingly. Otherwise, you will be falling under the chapter 9, that is penalties, compensation, and adjudication, which are just under the sections 43 and 47. So you must thoroughly know this section 43 to 47 for what type of crime, or for what type of mistakes or crimes, what type of penalties and compensations will be there. Next is chapter 10, the cyber appellate tribunal. So whenever you are not satisfied with this, then you can approach the cyber appellate tribunal and can get the compensation. And how to approach the cyber appellate tribunal and all, that is section 48 and 264. Next one is offences, section 65 to 78. This is to be discussed in our lecture, and penalties, compensation in chapter 9 will also be discussed. Next one is chapter 12, intermediaries not to be liable in certain cases. That means there may be a local dealer of the organization, or maybe a franchise of that particular organization. He may be taking your form and processing and sending to the company, and this particular person is said to be a middle person or intermediary person. So what are the things that are not related, or what are the activities that are not liable by the intermediaries, was listed in the section 79. So it may be a local shop in your locality who will process the forms of mobile phones, or maybe any other thing. So that fellow is not that fellow is not responsible for under leakage of your data or something. So that can be charged under different sections if he found guilty. But under IT Act, it was clearly mentioned that who are the intermediaries liable and who are the intermediaries not liable under these particular cyber crimes. Next one is chapter 11A, examiner of electronic evidences, and chapter 13. Chapter 12A is examiner of electronic evidences, and chapter 13 is miscellaneous. For example, in the case of the chapter 12, intermediaries, a terrorist has entered into an internet center and might have done some malicious activity from the internet center, and afterwards it was found that the police investigation was found that the the hacker's computer is in the internet center. Then do the internet center is responsible for that? Obviously that internet center must be held responsible, as he has to note who has entered into the internet center, how much time he has spent in that, who is that person, what is his name, any identity you have taken, have you maintained any CC camera to monitor that person. So these are the things must be maintained by the intermediary if he might have maintained all the records properly, then that fellow can be escaped from that particular case. And otherwise, that internet center person or the internet center who is running the internet center is also be part of that particular crime, and the uh, police may impose some sections on him, and he may be sent to jail. So this is what they call intermediaries. Who are the intermediaries? So in this entire IT Act, we mainly focus on the penalties, compensation, and this kind of things, and that is section 43 to 47. Then chapter 11, that is offences, 65 to 78. We mainly focus on these things because these are mainly related to the penalties and offences. These are related to the penetration tester, the failures of the penetration tester, with which the property of the individual, organization, and sometimes the attack on the nation may also happen. We'll move on to the cyber crimes and cyber laws. Under Section IT Act 2000, the offences and penalty. I have told you just now the penalties. Section 43 to 47. We are going to see. Section 43, damage to computer system, etc. It may be a physical damage, or it may be a damage caused by sending viruses, or maybe trojans, or maybe any other thing. The compensation not exceeding 1 crore rupees to the person so affected. So based upon the damage, the assessment will be done. Who will assess this? That will be under this particular chapter 12A, examiner of electronic evidences. So if they have mentioned who are the valid evidence examiner, okay, that examiner has to come to the site where the damage was occurred, and they have to assess what is that damage, and should be reported to the court that how much damage was happened. Based on that, the compensation will be done to the person so affected. Next is section 43A, the corporate body failure to protect the data. That is section 43A, compensation not exceeding 5 crore rupees to a person so affected. Actually, recently, from past 3 to 4 months, some Chinese apps are going to be banned in our country. That are banned based upon the section 43A of IT Act. That means the corporate body is failure to protect the user's data. So that is whenever it was happened, and whenever it is observed by the government of a country, then they can directly ban that without having any compensations and all. So that is reason, the main reason what the country administration or what the country government is telling is, since the data was not protected and the data servers are not maintained within the country, so obviously it will be fall under the data protection, that is violating the data protection activities, and it is also crime under the section 43A of the IT Act 2000. Next is section 44A, failure to furnish document, written or report to controller or the certifying authority. That means if something was happened wrong and you are supposed to produce the document for that, you are supposed to furnish the document or report to the controller or certifying authority. In such a cases, if you are failed to produce the electronic document, then penalty not exceeding 1 lakh and 50,000 rupees for each such failures. Section 44B, failure to file any written or furnish any information, books, or other documents within the time specified. That means the court may ask you to file something within some specified time, or the court may ask the company to file the so and so within certain time. And if the company says that that footage is not available and that content is not available, and this will be fall under the section 44B, that is penalty not exceeding 5,000 rupees for every day during which such failure continues. So this is what the thing which is under 44B. Usually there is a guidelines. That means in any restaurant or in any public places, and where they need to install the CC cameras and need to maintain this footage for at least 90 days. So this kind of rule will be there. Whenever this kind of thing was not followed by that organization, then if the court or if the tribunal identifies that this is the mistake they are doing, then they may ask for the submission of the document. If they are unable to, if they are failed to submit the document, then it will fall under section 44A. Otherwise, if they fail to maintain that, then it will be falling under the 44B, and related penalties we have seen. Next is section 44C, that is failure to maintain books of account or records. So there is no electronic records, there is no books, etc. Then penalty not exceeding 10,000 rupees for every day during which such failures were continued. Next one is section 45, where no penalty has been separately provided. Compensation not exceeding 25,000 rupees to the person affected by such contravention, or a penalty not exceeding 25,000 rupees. That means if the court or tribunal has given that okay, you are supposed to pay a compensation of 1 lakh rupee to the person affected, and that company was failed to give that 1 lakh rupees, that means where no penalty has been separately provided by the company within the given time, then the compensation not exceeding 25,000 rupees to the person affected by such contravention, or a penalty not exceeding 25,000 rupees in addition to the penalty that was supposed to given by the company, has to be paid under section 45 of IT Act. So under section 43 and 43A, these are the two things which will fall and which will be leading or which will be related to the penetration tester. Sometimes because of the launching of some backdoors or trojans, or by installing of the payloads via Metasploit, sometimes if the computer was damaged, then that fellow can be sued under section 43. And if you might have gone for the, or if the hacker might have gone for the data tampering or data diddling or some leakaging of the data, or privacy of the data was violated, and obviously it will be treated as the failure of the company who are not maintaining the proper data, or there is no protection for the data of the customers or consumers, then that company may be booked under the section 43A, where the compensation may not be exceeding 5 crore rupees, or sometimes if it was recognized by the government, then it may be leading into the ban of the particular application or company for life from that particular country. So these are the cyber crimes and cyber laws under the chapter 9, that is penalties compensation, which are from section 43 to 47. We will see some other sections that is related to the chapter 11, which are under offences from section 65 to 78 and IT Amendment Act in the next lecture.